All right. I don't want anyone feeling uncomfortable or like you're not good enough to be role playing. This is the time to practice. The time to practice is not when you're making your calls. Now, I want to be really clear when you are making your calls, you're not going to be perfect. I don't want you saying, "Hey, I've practiced and I didn't do that great. I'm not going to call." I'm saying call imperfectly and role play imperfectly as long as you're making improvements. So bottom line is we have two jobs. Make contact as often as we can, as much as we can, make as many contacts as we can. The pure numbers, even if you're not very good at prospecting, the pure numbers are going to shake out where you're going to get some leads and some deals. Okay, so make contact. Now, your second job is to improve. You're going to make little micro improvements for years. I've been prospecting and making cold calls since 2009. Probably before that. Okay, probably before that. Actually, it was before that. I remember in 2004, my very, very first um, prospecting call was someone that was looking for a bed and breakfast. I worked for a United Country franchise in the mountains of Virginia, and I someone came in as a lead and they wanted a bed and breakfast. So technically this wasn't cold. I haven't had a conversation with this lady. She said, my husband and I love Virginia. We live in Hawaii, and we're looking for a bed and breakfast. We want to be in the mountains. And it was just this great conversation. And I said, I'm going to look for you guys. And I didn't know any better. And the next day, the perfect property rolled across my laptop. And I got into the office about 9 in the morning and I called and I was excited. And her husband answered and I said, hey, great news. This is who I am. I spoke with your wife yesterday. I just wanted to let you know that the perfect property came across my computer this morning, and it was just amazing. We had such or I was excited. Let me say that. I had no trepidation. Now, let me ask you guys what the key detail of this story was. Say, what's the key detail of the story I just told you? Talked to the wife the day before. Perfect property comes across my computer through the system the day after. I called that morning. What's a key detail that you guys might have picked up on that I missed back then?
Millie's is the one that ends in January.
Can I think of anyone? I missed a key detail that I happened to include in that story. Where do they live? Anybody remember where I said they lived? And we're going to get to role play here in a second, but I think it's important that you guys see some of the failures I've had. Okay. What was it? They lived in Hawaii. Yep, they lived in Hawaii. Okay. I called at 9 a.m. on the East Coast. About 5 minutes into my rambling, without any space for them to talk, the guy finally goes, "You said it's Bruce, right? Yep. Do you know where we live?" I said, "Yeah, Hawaii." Okay. And then it dawned on me what had happened, and I lost that deal. So that was a warm call. The point is, I've been calling for a long time and I messed up. If I didn't make that mistake on that call, I probably would have made that mistake on another call. And I'm just going to say to you guys, if you don't make a mistake on a call today, you're just going to make a mistake on a call in the future. So don't worry about it. Just make the mistake. As long as you're also working on improving, as long as you're also practicing, as long as you're also adding little tiny techniques to your skill level. That's what prospecting and being a good agent or investor and good in this space is going to be all about. Okay. So I want you guys making sure that regardless of how you feel, you are here practicing, you're putting yourself out there. All right, cool. So with that said, I want to jump into the role play calls for today. Do I have any volunteers? Anybody want to put themselves up? I knew Cam was going to be one of the first to raise his hand. Want to put themselves up as the investor, the agent on the phone. All right, Cam, you're off mute. Do I have anyone that would like to play the role of a prospect? Anybody want to play the role of a prospect? I'm happy to do it.
Let's go, Bruce.
All right, sounds good. Let's do
All right.
it.
I've been working on this one. So ring ring.
Hello,
Hello, how you doing? May I speak to Bruce, please?
who's speaking?
My name's Cameron Adesanya. I'm a local probate specialist. I'm actually calling about a pending probate case out of Middlesex County. Is now a good time to speak?
Um, yeah, how'd you get my information?
So I actually work with closely with the county courthouse. I go down and I work closely with the county courthouse and I look for families going through the probate process because I've dealt with a few of these transactions before. So I like to reach out and, I know it's a super overwhelming time. So a little bit about myself. I'm not an agent, I'm not an attorney, but I do work with a reputable attorney. Um, could you tell me how far along you are into the probate process?
Literally just started. Just started. Transactions, what do you mean transactions?
So myself, I handle more of the groundwork. Usually you find yourself or the attorney, they handle more of the legalities. I handle more of the estate preservation, the cleanups, and all that fun stuff. So you just began. Have you got your letters of testamentary yet?
Um, I'm not sure what that is.
So it's basically just the court or the magistrate just giving you the right to sell or the right to do anything basically with your property. Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna sell the property. Is that what this is about?
No, not so much. I mean, we do also purchase real estate, but our main goal is to provide value. We're here to help any part of the situation, whether it's a referral to an attorney. Like I said before, we do a lot of the estate preservation. Um, so you do not have any plans to sell the real estate, or do you not have a plan?
It's just too early to know right now.
Okay, I understand that. Um, so like I said, we come up with a game plan. So then when you are ready, for any part of the process that you know exactly what you're doing. Do you have any siblings? Do you have anyone else on the deed, if you mind me
Uh,
asking?
I'm not really sure that I need anything. So I tell you what, I'll take your information down. Thanks for calling. You said your name was what again? And I'll write your number down.
Okay. So my name's Cameron Adesanya. I'm local probate specialist. My phone number is 774-253-4277. And are you did you grab that?
Yeah, I got it.
And if it's cool with you, would you mind if I gave you my business email and my business website as well?
Sure. Yeah, I can take
Okay.
those down.
Okay. So would you mind if I grabbed your email just to send that over to you?
Oh, no, I'll write yours down.
Okay. So Cameron at yahoo.com and my business website is myprobateservice.com. Um, I will give you a call maybe in the next 2 weeks just to see how things are going.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
Okay. Um, have a great day, Bruce. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, you too. Thanks. Okay, bye. All right. Um, I was trying to give realistic responses without the realistic attitude that comes with it. So for anyone that was listening that was wondering, like sometimes when you get these particular responses that I threw at Cameron, sometimes there's an attitude that's a little bit more abrasive that comes with the response. So the bottom line is I was just trying to give the response
Mhm.
to see how Cameron would deal with those deal with the response. It's more important that we learn how to avoid those responses altogether. Now, once we get the response, we do need to know how to deal with it. But I felt like there was just opportunity and room for me to cut you off
Mhm.
like that. I felt like some of my responses you left room for. Like, can I get your email address? You left a little bit of room for that.
Okay.
You left a little bit of room for me to cut you off. Do you know why I cut you off?
No.
Toward the end of the conversation, I was like, "Hey, you know what? I don't need anything. I really got everything handled. I'll take your information down."
Hmm.
Okay. Was I planning on taking your information down? No. That was
That
my
was the
way
exit.
of trying to soften the blow that I just gave you. And a lot of people want to do that. They don't like being jerks.
Mm.
Some people love it. Most people don't like being jerks. And so when they cut you off and they're kind of jerkish, they'll soften it up. I'd rather beat them to the punch. Okay. So does anyone here know why I cut Cameron off like that? About 80% of the way into the call. Any ideas? You can unmute yourself if
He was
anyone.
asking the wrong question,
What? Yep. Okay. Asking the
the
wrong.
wrong tone of the question. What you want to say is, hey, what's the best email address for you so I can send you some information about myself?
Yep. Perfect. Any other reasons why I cut Cameron off?
Well, when you said you didn't want to sell, you weren't sure, you should just followed it up with just another exploratory question, getting past that reflex. Just,
Yeah.
okay, tell me what options are you considering?
Yep. Right. Absolutely. I like the exploratory question. I also like the idea of an exploratory guess. So sometimes we want to ask an exploratory question. What options are you considering? Sometimes we want to make a guess as to their situation. Hey, it's probably too early for you. You probably haven't even talked to the family about that yet.
Like get
Safe
in front
guess.
of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you could get in front of it. Yeah. I brought up, hey, we don't know if we're gonna sell. Sometimes making a guess as to the situation's good. Let me kind of go to the bottom line of why I cut you off.
Mhm.
I just felt like it wasn't getting anywhere. Like you were sort of fishing a little bit, and I could feel you fishing. So I want to go ahead and tighten up your offer and get it out there faster. And if your initial offer is not real estate, which is is really good that your initial offer wasn't real estate. There's people on here whose initial offer is going to be real estate, and that's amazing. That's fine. I'm not going to correct you guys if the initial thing that you talk about is real estate. I like to talk about the what Cameron referred to as the groundwork, the concierge type service. I like to offer that first. Offer it, ask a question, get their answer, get to the point, get to it faster. When you explain your service, you need to follow it up with a question. Let them make a decision as to whether they like what you just offered or not. Okay, and that's where we really weren't getting anywhere, and it kind of led me to cut you off.
Okay.
So
What question would you ask?
for me, I would probably give them the option of shutting me down. So remember, someone on the phone generally doesn't um, know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you, you're a stranger on the phone. They want to resist. They want to resist, which is one of the reasons I give them something to resist that doesn't kill my business. If they say, no, I don't need any of the estate sale coordination, I don't need any of the groundwork done, that's not going to kill the service that I really offer. So I would probably ask something like, hey, at this point in the game, do you have everything covered, or is there anything I could do for you? What are they going to say? Most likely, what are they going to say? We got it covered. Okay. Another reason for doing that, giving them the reason a way to resist you or reject you, is it turns the no, I got it covered, them cutting you off, it turns that away from a cutoff and it turns it into a yes, we have it covered. So anytime I think that they're gonna be hitting me with an objection or resistance, I want to find a way to get them to frame that resistance as a yes, as an agreement. So if I say, do you have everything covered? Or is there anything I could help with? All of a sudden, because that's one of the options I gave, they go, yes, I have it covered. They might not use those exact words, but that's the attitude. It's a yes, I've got it covered, which is fine with me. I want the real estate. If they've got the process covered, my feelings aren't hurt. Okay, I can just bring real estate up next.
I was just gonna ask, because that's kind of my thought process. All right, we get that out the way. All right, would you be interested in a super reasonable, all cash, no contingent cash offer? Yeah.
You could bring that up. I'm probably gonna position that cash offer much later in the call if I can extend the call. What's the one thing that we definitely want as a baseline? Like you have a rough call real estate's not brought up. What's a baseline win that you could get on that call?
Just the email.
An email. Yep. So permission to communicate, permission to market. That's kind of the baseline. That's the first win that I'm going for on every single call. That way, the rest of the call could go sideways, and I still have permission to send them information. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of giving them the ability to reject the first thing I've offered so that I can move to, let me send you some information. Let me send you some information. That's what I'm getting that rejection for. So they go, no, got everything handled, don't need anything. And I go, oh, perfect. You know, it sounds like I kind of caught you way too early before you even need any of these things. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Tell you what, why don't I drop you some information on some of the resources and services that are available in the area? If anything ever comes up, you can give me a call. Is that fair? Let me just sort of poll the audience here. How many of you would have said, yeah, that's fair, send me some information? Hopefully most of you, but if you're someone that would say no, let me know. I find about 90% say, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, send me information because they're just trying to put me off. Okay, now I have permission to put my marketing in front of them. Now I have an ability to say, hey, let me do that through email. What's your best email? Now I have an ability to mail them. They've essentially given me permission. Now I have my first win. My first win. Have we talked about real estate yet? Not necessarily. Okay. But I got one base level win that if the rest of the call goes sideways, I know that I can get information in their hands. Now I can shift to real estate. Hey, I'm going to send that through mail, expect a package. Hey, expect an email, expect this, expect that, whatever it is. Just before I jump off, can I ask, once probate's further along, is there any real estate involved that the family's thinking about selling? That's the way that I like to bring the real estate up. So you are trying to drag a conversation out, which is good. I mean, I love dragging conversations out, but you are dragging it out without necessarily getting to the point. Okay. Now, there are those on this call probably, I can't see my whole audience, my whole attendee list, but I would bet there are those on the call that are exceptionally good at dragging a call out. If you're really, really good at it without losing their interest and frustrating them, drag it out, please. I just felt, Cam, that as the prospect, that I would have been getting kind of frustrated because I wasn't understanding what you were coming at.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hello.
Cool. All right.
Thank you,
Anybody
Bruce.
else have any feedback that you'd like to
Yeah.
share for Cameron?
Come on, bring it.
All right. If not, hopefully you guys
Okay.
understand a few quick things. I've got someone off of mute and I can't tell who it is.
Okay. Well, swap.
Hold on, guys. Hang tight.
Okay.
Try to see
Is
where
it
the
sending
noise
you the
is. Anyone
address?
see where the noise is? Oh, I got it. Okay. So, you guys, are gonna get feedback like this if you've never role played on these calls before. Where our job is to give you some realistic types of responses. If you ever play the role of a prospect on this call, your job is not to shut the other person down. Your job is to give some realistic responses without killing the call, because we're not gonna improve if we just kill each other's call. So if you're role playing with me, I'll give you some kind of unique answers like this before to just kind of try to get you moving along, see how you might respond to a little bit of resistance. And that's so good for every single one of us to hear those things. I want you to stumble a little bit. I want you to get a little bit stuck. That's where improvement lies. All right. I saw a hand go up. Whose hand was up? Norio. Perfect. How's it going, my brother?
All right. How are you guys doing?
Really good, really good. Who are you gonna
So-
role play with?
I'll role play with anybody that wants to role play with me.
Anyone? Cam wants to role play. Let's go ahead and pin
My
Cam
bad.
again.
If anybody else wants to role play, I'm not trying to, hog the spotlight. I'm just trying to get better. But if anybody else wants to role play, I'm not gonna,
Cool. Be the prospect, Cam.
All right. What's your name again, buddy?
Noriel.
Norio. Nice to meet you. My name's Cameron. Whenever you're ready.
All right. Ring ring.
Hello?
Hi, Cam. This is Norio. How you doing today?
Uh, Noriel, may I ask who's calling? Like, who's this?
Yeah, no, great. Thanks for asking. Cam, my name is Norio. I was calling in regards to the estate of John Doe. Looks like you are likely going to be the administrator of the estate. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, yeah, I got a few of these calls. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, so yeah, I'm curious. You say you got a few minute calls. What number am I calling today?
No, so this is actually the second call today, and it's only 12 o'clock, in the afternoon. So,
Gotcha. Well, Cam, I appreciate you taking my call, first of all. And the reason that I'm calling today is I lead an estate solutions team here locally that works with families like yourself that are going through the probate process. What we do, Cam, is pretty simple. We help, uh, for example, with concierge services and resources to ultimately help you and the estate save time and net more. For example, we've assisted with property cleanouts and repairs. We can also help the estate with an estate sale. That's something that's needed. And then lastly, if there's any real estate that needs to be sold as part of the probate, we have a few options that could be helpful. Would any of those be helpful to you and the estate, Cam, or do you have it pretty much handled at this time?
um, I'm just a little confused. So, how'd you get my number, first of all?
Yeah, no, good question. Cam, our team actually works with the County clerk to identify who's going through probate, and we give them a call. So just curious, how's the process going for you so far?
Super overwhelming, super difficult. Like I said, we're getting calls all day. My attorney just kind of told us to sit and wait. So I don't know what we're waiting for. They didn't tell us too much. We're just sitting and waiting at this point.
So is this is the first time you're kind of going through this?
Yes. Yeah, it's
Got it,
super
got it.
difficult.
And when you say it's difficult and overwhelming, is it just because just the process overall, or just the amount of work that needs to be done, or what's causing you to feel overwhelmed?
I mean, just not knowing what's going on, and also, like family member passing and people just
Mhm.
hounding us trying to just buy real estate. I mean, at least, you asked what we needed, but yeah, we still don't know what's going on for the most part.
So yeah, so it sounds a little bit early in the process, right?
Yeah, we just filed 3 weeks ago. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I get you. And do you know the condition of the property? Do you think you'll need any a property clean now? Do you think you'll need an estate sale? What do you think?
So I'm not sure. I haven't visited the property. Me and my uncle, we fell out, so I'm the last one left. So, I never went over there to check the property, see the property or anything.
Yeah.
But from what uh my family member told me that it does need work.
Okay.
Why do you handle all that type of stuff? Is that what you
We
do?
can definitely help you with all that. Yeah, we've assisted with, property repairs and cleaning outs. If you're, again, I'm not sure if do you think the estate's leaning towards holding the real estate, or do you think you guys will be putting it for sale?
I'm not even sure.
Not sure.
Not even sure. I mean, I'd want to sell it, but like I said, it's me and my sister. So,
Yeah.
we're just trying to figure out what we're gonna do in general.
Got it. And no, I completely understand, Cam. And when do you think you'll be at the property to kind of take a look at what's going on there?
So I haven't really made a time to go over there, check anything out. I just kind of been sitting and waiting, like my attorney told me to do.
You sort of kind of wait for the letters of it once you get assigned. Is that kind of the waiting? He's just wait till you get assigned by the court. Is
I
that kind
believe so. I mean, they just,
of?
we filed paperwork and they told us they're going to be in contact. So I kind of don't know what's going on. Is that what's happens? You get letters?
Yeah, the court will appoint you, and then they'll assign what's called a letters of administration. That'll give you authority to sell the real estate and do, talk to the bank, get access to bank accounts and really administer the estate. So how about this, Cam? Let me shoot you my information, shoot you some info, some of our services. If any of them seem helpful, you can feel free to give me a call. Would that sound okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
What's
I
uh
do
what's a
have
good
your
email for you?
Cameron@yahoo.com.
Cameron@yahoo.com. Fantastic. Is this a text? Is this a phone number you can receive text message as well?
Yeah, this is my cell phone.
Okay, Cam, again, my
So
name is
you're telling me
Noriel.
you're gonna go over there and you're just gonna clean out the property for me? Is that what's going on right now?
well, once you get assigned as the executor or the administrator, we can go there together and we can determine, where we can help you with. So if that's something you need, that is something we can help you with.
Okay, awesome.
Cam, my name is Noriel. So if you have a pen and paper, you can jot down my name, but I'm going to shoot you a quick text right now as well. That way you can save my information on your phone. Sounds good?
Yeah, that actually makes it a little easier.
Okay. Is there anything else that I might have missed that could be helpful or that can help answer for you?
I'm not sure. Is there?
Not at the moment, but just wonder if you had anything in mind. So, again, I'm not an attorney, Cam, but if there's any real estate or legal questions you need help with, if I don't know the answer, I'll seek it for you. So just again, feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
All right, thank you, Noriel. You really actually kind of made my day a little better, instead of just calling just for the real estate. You called to help me out. So,
No problem, man. So you have my phone number. We'll be in touch, all right?
all right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Cam. See ya.
That was smooth, bro.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
Noriel's been practicing for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was smooth. All
I threw you
right.
a couple curveballs too. Like I was kind of, even when I forgot, I forgot what I said, but I was like, oh, you're gonna go back to the property and clean it out for me? You handle that. I was like, all right, cool.
So guys, let me sort of tell everyone where huge improvement lies in every single person's prospecting. And this is honestly helped me improve so much on the phone, is taking notes on what people do really well and where they might have missed something, where they might be too long, things like that. Taking notes on your all's calls is huge to develop my own personal skill. As you listen to these calls, if you're not the one that's on the phone, as you listen to them, I want you all taking notes. What the person missed, what they hit out of the park, what did they say that you've never thought about that you want to emulate yourself. It's going to make you better. Role playing makes you better, but so does evaluating somebody else's call. So that's what I've been kind of doing here with Noriel. Is anyone tired of listening to me give feedback and you guys want to give Noriel some of your own feedback? So who's like, hey, let me step in and give a little bit of feedback, good or bad, to Noriel on his call before I go? All right, if so, just raise your hand.
My bad.
All right, go for it, Cam.
Just the beginning, it was just a little long. I was like, when I was thinking, I was like, oh, this is like long, but other than that, you pivoted and everything was Gucci. But just the beginning was like, what are you trying to say to me?
Yep.
That's what
Yeah, that was the first note that I took, Noriel, is how the first where you got to your unique selling proposition, concierge service with examples. By the way, you're hitting the points that I teach. I didn't feel like it was perfectly relevant to Cam's temperament on the phone. Cam's temperament opening that call was a little bit resistant, a little bit annoyed that he was getting another call. And when somebody's resistant and annoyed that they're getting another call, I'm probably going to keep my USP a little bit shorter, my offer a little bit shorter, to a sentence or two.
Okay.
You broke apart several different examples. And I do that, but I do that when I'm like, hey, can I take a second to tell you what this call's about? And if they go, yeah, sure. I'm gonna deliver an offer, a service presentation that might take me a minute or so to get through. But if they say, what's up? And I just felt like Cameron his response was a little bit laced with some resistance, some skepticism. It's going to be short. So basically, Cam, what I do is I offer kind of a set of services, almost like a concierge, to help you get through probate. Do you mind if I ask, is there anything that you can think of that you might need right now, or do you really just have everything covered? So quick, move to the question as fast as possible, because that person that was skeptical and wants to resist you. They're skeptical, so they're going to want to resist.
Can you repeat
they're
that
not
one more
listening
time,
to.
Bruce? I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
I'll do my best. Okay, I'll do my best because it's not a specific line. So basically, what I do, Cam, is I offer a concierge type service. It kind of helps with providing resources and connections services that you need in probate. But I don't know if you're too early to really need anything. I understand. Is there anything I could take off your plate, or am I a little bit too early? So I'm gonna go ahead and feed them that um, objection that I felt like might be coming anyway. So why am I doing that? I mentioned it on your call, Cam. Why am I actually giving them the objection that I thought was coming anyway?
Mhm.
Why am I doing that? Anybody? Why would I
Just
set somebody up to give
rest.
me the objection?
I'm sorry, I was writing it down. Can you repeat that question one more time?
Why would I set you up to actually give you the objection? Why would I say, am I too early? Do you not need anything? Why would I give you that option?
Because you already know what you want me to like. You already know what you want me to say. Like you're
True. I know what
throwing
I
it up.
want you to say. It's more that I know what you're probably going to say anyway. And I want to turn that objection instead of a no, I don't need what you just offered. I want it to be more like, yes, I've got it covered. I don't need anything. I want it to be a yes type of response as opposed to a no and a shut me down objection. Okay. It also gives me a chance because I know exactly how to deal with, yeah, I don't need anything. It gives me a chance to be able to deal with it. Okay. All right. Noriel, you dropped off of, you're not pinned here anymore. And you guys don't see this, but I basically pin whoever is up. He's not pinned, so I think he dropped out of the call. I'm just going to go through and give Noriel some feedback. He can watch this later, and you guys get the benefit from it. Um, so Cameron mentioned that you and your uncle had had a falling out. That's a loose thread that I want to pull on a little bit. Anytime somebody kind of drops some information into the middle of the call that I might not have had earlier, falling out, it was my uncle, that kind of thing, I want to camp on it because our ultimate goal, like if we're gonna have a relationship with this person, we need to get them talking. The longer we can stay on the phone with them in an open and friendly conversation, the better. So that's where I probably would have grabbed you, Cam, and been like, oh man, so this was your uncle's place. Yeah. Yeah, and you might have just started rolling with that. How long have you guys been kind of estranged? How were you the one that got picked as the administrator? What's your sister doing? I would have probably, all these might seem irrelevant. And here comes Noriel back into the call, so he's missing this point. All of these questions might seem kind of irrelevant to what we're really going after, but it breaks down the conversation barrier. Noriel, you're going to have to listen to the point that I just made for you. It was basically digging into his statement that it was his uncle's. He and his uncle had had a falling out. Digging into that and trying to open up that communication, whether whether it feels relevant or not.
Okay.
To exactly where you are. So it was your uncle's property. You mentioned holding or selling. So you talked about, are you holding on to the real estate or are you selling? I want you guys to remember that this person might still be pretty skeptical and might be looking for an opportunity to reject you. If I'm giving them the bait to reject, I'm normally not going to give them bait that ruins my chances. So I don't like to ask people, are you going to keep the property or are you going to sell the property? Because if they want to resist me, they're going to take that opportunity to resist me with something that I can't recover from. I just need to be able to recover from their resistance. So instead of saying, are you going to keep the property or are you going to sell the property? I'll usually say, are you guys thinking about selling the property or is it too early to know? That way, if they take the resistance bait, it's not we're keeping the property, killing anything that I might have in the future. It's more of it's too early to know. That's some bait that they're gonna gravitate toward, but it doesn't ruin my chance of getting a real estate deal later. Cameron mentioned that his attorney had him waiting. I think you did a good job of dodging that landmine, because that kind of stepping in and telling him that your attorney's wrong can be a little bit tricky if he's got a good relationship with an attorney. I probably want to get a little closer to it though. So he's wrong. Honestly, somebody, especially where Cameron lives up north, somebody probably needs to be in that home. Have you guys had any freezing nights yet, Cameron, in Massachusetts? So
So it's like, I mean, it's fluctuating, but I mean, it's 60 degrees today, which is actually really nice. Everybody loves it, but it was like 30 like a week ago.
So, Noriel, you're in California, so you probably aren't dealing with this, but for those of you, you get someone that's just sitting waiting on an attorney in a cold weather market, that house could get some frozen pipe damage. So normally I'm gonna say, hey, the last thing I ever do is step on an attorney's toes. They're the expert in this. Do you mind if I share my experience of what you can do and what you can't do? That's going to be my way of inserting some credibility and authority of mine into the conversation without saying your attorney's an idiot. Okay. So do you mind if I share some of my experience of what you can and can't do at this stage? Sure. So one thing that a lot of mistake I see a lot of people make is they never go into the property. The things that you can't do, you can't sell anything, you can't take anything. The things that you can do, you can make sure that you protect that property, and you can start reviewing your options at this point. You can't take action on them until the court approves and your attorney tells you that you have approval. But you can review your options and you can start protecting and preserving some of your assets. If you haven't been to the real estate, I think now would be the best time to go, to make sure that locks are changed, that it's not, you don't have frozen pipes, things like that. So now we're kind of offering that advice as the kind of the stuff, the real estate expert. So I want to take an opportunity to build some credibility with some expertise here. All right, Cal, yes, the recording is out. I don't send the recording out to everyone. I've got 7,000 people that I try not to overwhelm with 1,000 different emails. So I don't just blanket send the recording out for the people here, but I do put it on YouTube. It'll be up on YouTube within about a day. So if you're not following YouTube, go to YouTube Probate Mastery and look at that. And then just make sure that you have notifications on. You'll get a notification that there's a new role play video up. All right, who's next?
Thanks, Bruce.
Absolutely, Noriel. Thanks for doing that. We got about 20 minutes or so before the call ends. I'm looking for another 1 or 2 people to role play.
I'll play.
Jennifer, perfect. All right, let me pin you for the video. You are up. Do I have anyone that wants to play the prospect? I'm happy.
Oh no, let me be the prospect.
Hey,
I'm
you
so
gotta,
nervous
you gotta,
about making it. Yeah, okay, so I will just fall on my face and say I've never made a phone call. I have purchased a list of leads and I still cannot get over, I cannot make a phone call. I have hundreds of phone numbers and
Great.
I'm on the call to learn how to make this phone call without sounding sleazy.
I love it. Okay, so you're role playing with me then. I'll match my my responses to where you are.
Okay.
All right. So if you're much better than you think, I might throw you a few curveballs. If you're where, oh man, you just dropped. Okay.
Am I
There you
fine?
go. There you go. I see you.
Right. Sorry
I
about
just
that.
lost my pins. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, go for it. Start with the
Ring,
ring.
Ring ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Bruce?
Yeah, speaking.
Hi, Bruce. My name is Jennifer Lesh. I'm with Remax Properties East here in Kentucky. Have I reached you at a good time?
Yeah, I'm kind of busy, but I guess I have a few minutes. What are you calling for?
Oh, I'm very sure that you are. If you're not busy now, you will be. I work with the Jefferson County Clerk's Office and received notice that you are an administrator for John Doe's estate. and I wanted to send my condolences to you on the loss. And I also wanted to let you know that there are plenty of free resources available for folks that are dealing with this. I found myself dealing with the same situation with my mother 11 years ago. And so I found called to help others to navigate the probate, because it's not easy. And so I wanted to see if you had any resources that you needed at this point where I could be a help to you.
No, I think at this point, we've got everything kind of covered. It's still really early though.
Okay. So if you're early in the process, have you been able to take inventory of all the items that are left in the estate?
No, no, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't even been over to the house yet. It's been a couple of weeks, and we're kind of sitting tight until we have our court date.
Okay. So Bruce, do you mind if I send over, I've got your email at bruce@yahoo.com. Do you mind if I send over some free resources? Part of that is going to be an inventory sheet that you're going to need to provide to the court for the probate process. It's given to you, free of charge. You feel free to use it. But there's also some guides in there about the process. There is a resource sheet from the county, as well as a couple of my favorite clean out folks and people who can help you to preserve the home. I noticed that you don't live in the area, so I don't know how difficult it would be for you to maintain the property. And I know a lot of folks don't have access to landscapers or plumbers and folks to winterize the home. And as the winter is coming, we might want to make sure that your pipes don't freeze. So I've got all of these resources here. Do you mind if I send that over to you so that you can look it over at your leisure?
Yeah, I suppose you could do that.
Okay. Well, I'll send that over to you. And once again, I wanted to send my condolences to you, send this resource to you. And have you considered what you might do with, I'm sorry, are you looking to sell the property, or is it too early in the process?
Yeah, it's honestly really early in the process. I think we might end up selling the house because nobody's there.
Sure.
But we kind of had conversations a few years ago about maybe keeping it as a rental.
Sure.
Just don't know yet.
Absolutely. So I also work with property managers if you'd like to go down that path, who can help to evaluate, and I can provide you a market analysis of not only the sale price of the home, but also what the rental rates are in the area. Can you confirm that the home is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a 2-car garage?
I wish I knew.
Okay.
We're a couple hours away. I think you mentioned that you knew we lived out of the area. We're a few hours away, and the last time I was up there, we just we didn't normally stay there. We'd stay in a hotel, so I just don't know. It sounds like it might be right though.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, do you know when you'll be able to come and secure the property?
What do you mean?
So Bruce, because of the situation, if no one's here, what I hear you say is that no one in here is local, you might want to secure the property by changing the locks, making sure that the home is secure, that the windows are locked, that the doors are locked, and that you take an assessment of the condition of the home, so that if there's we live in an area where we do have flooding, so we want to make sure that your asset is preserved. And so that's part of the process that I offer, is that I help to provide you resources with folks who can help you change your locks, and folks that can look at your property maybe once a week or once a month, whatever that looks like for you, to make sure that your basement doesn't flood, and to also make sure that nobody's breaking into the home. As you understand, a vacant property, it is public knowledge. So at that point, you want to make sure that that you're preserving the asset so that you have something to inherit.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure when we're gonna have a chance to do that. Maybe in the next couple of weeks.
Well, why don't I do this just as a courtesy? I'm going to drive by the house and make sure from the outside that it looks like it's secure. I'll follow up with you once I do that. And in the meantime, I'll also provide you with the information about the rental market, as well as provide you with a complimentary market analysis and get you some information so that you and your loved one can make a decision. And in the meantime, if there's any other questions that you have, I'm going to send you my information, and I'll follow up with you within the next few days about the condition of the home from the outside, and follow up with you in another week or so and see how the process is going. How does that sound?
Okay. Yeah, that works.
Okay. Well, once again, it was super nice to talk to you, Bruce, and I'll follow up with you soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. All right, bye.
All right, bye.
Hey, that was exceptional. Listen, I don't cold call. I'm not
don't
used to
cold
this.
call.
I'm gonna mess up. That was really good. And I tried to, there were a couple little softballs in there. Nothing, I don't think I was too
No,
friendly
I didn't feel like you were too cranky.
or too friendly. Sometimes people are way more
No, I
friendly
didn't
than
feel like
that,
you were
too.
friendly either. I felt like you
Yeah.
did not want to be on the phone with me.
Yeah. That's honestly you're gonna get that type of person very frequently. So
Sure.
that when I role play with most people, especially those that have been here a few times, I throw like I take the role of that 10%er that's a little bit more abrasive. Um and so what
I've watched these calls many times.
yeah,
I'm just like, I'm a long time watcher, first time caller. You know, it's like,
you're good. Yeah.
first
All
time
right.
caller. What could I have done better?
Sure. So one of the first things that I wrote down is I work with the clerk's office. I want to change that language a little bit.
I don't like it at all. It feels disingenuous.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to allude to being close with the clerk's office, but not with the clerk's office.
Okay.
So, hey, I work really closely with the folks at the clerk's office and several attorneys in the area. Okay. Way better. It's dodging the feeling that you're being disingenuous by saying that you work for the clerk's office.
Okay.
Okay. So I like saying I work with the clerk's office because it really opens the call up. I mean, they immediately, if they think that you work at the clerk's office, they're not going to be very resistant. But then when they find out that you don't, your relationship
Right.
is done.
Which is why I say that I say I'm a realtor. I'm calling
Yeah.
as a realtor, but I also tried to make it personal and say, listen, I've dealt with this with my own mom. And so I'd like to help other people because the information is not easy to get to.
Well, that's another thing that I want you to consider. Don't I definitely do change how you present your relationship with the clerk's office. So change that without going away from it, but
Okay.
change it so that you can't get called out for lying. Okay.
I work closely with the clerk's office.
Yeah, yeah,
Get the information directly from the clerk's office.
yeah. What I would challenge you to consider is when you put your real estate brokerage front and center. I find that doing it too early will pigeonhole you into them thinking that it's just about the real estate, and it'll shut your door on being able to talk about other services. So I generally hold back the real estate revelation of my real estate affiliation
As a
until
licensee and a realtor, I thought
you're
we
good.
had to tell people that we were realtors.
First substantive conversation is the law.
So if we're providing information that has to do with probate, it doesn't have to do with real estate. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
doesn't have anything to, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah. So now as soon as the topic shifts to real estate, you need to go ahead and bring that up. Bring your license status up and your brokerage. Okay. You said I have your email at bruce@yahoo.com. I'm never gonna do that, mainly because
So don't tell them that I know their information.
yeah, yep. Another reason is it might be an opportunity for them to say, yeah, go for it. So if you were to skip trace me, you're probably going to find an email that I don't even know the login for anymore.
Sure.
It's my default. Let me just give you this.
So you would say, what's the best email address to
Yeah,
send us
yeah,
information? Okay.
exactly. Okay. You also, when you were talking about emailing, you kind of were a little too passive. You said, "Do you mind if I?" Now later in the call, you shifted to a, "I'm going to drive by. I'm going to make sure. I'm going to send you some comps." You did that. I want to do that ahead of the information that you're going to send as well. Instead of "Can I?" or "Do you mind if I?" Because "Do you mind if I?" I don't know. It depends on the market area and the temperament of people, but I find that if I go, "Hey, do you mind if I do dot dot dot?" It's a 50-50 as to whether I get an affirmative positive response to that question.
Okay.
Yet, if I say, "Hey, I tell you what, I'm going to shoot you some details and some resources on some of the things that are available to you." And that way you look over them, save it. If anything comes up that you need help with, you can call me. Is that okay? So
Sure.
my question there is that okay? But I've essentially just told them what I'm going to do. And that's going to get a much higher opt-in to the information that you want to send.
Do you mind if you're like, no, I don't, do you mind if I think I learned that somewhere where you want them to feel like it's okay to say no. So you say,
Mhm.
if I don't mind, do you mind if they're going to say no,
Mhm.
because they want to say no. So, but do you mind if I send this? No. Well, they feel good because they've said no, and I get the yes with getting
Uh,
the no.
I think it's 50-50. I understand
Sure.
the logic behind it and the
Sure.
psychology behind it. I'm gonna give them the feeling that there's a choice, but I'm gonna give it in a way that stacks the deck in my favor. And to me, the deck
You're
is
telling
stacked.
them, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you that, I'm going to give you this. Is that okay? Okay, that feels good.
Is that fair? Is that okay? Would that be helpful? Those kind of things soften up the bully
Have you
aspect of it.
have you heard the Jared James thought of would you be offended if I sent you free comps? Would you be offended if I
Yeah.
the details about this property?
I think that that's a Sandler approach. Um, there's
I think it's
no
weird. I think it's a weird, way to
several, yeah, several people here use it.
yeah.
Like Michael White uses it all the time. It's not something that I do.
The way
It,
you speak is like the way I want to speak.
yeah.
I think the way that you speak is very fluid, and it gets them to the yes, and is very disarming.
Mhm.
So they don't want to they want to go with the flow with you because of the way you ask your questions.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I think that the Jared James, I mean, Jared knows his stuff. And it also came from the book, Would You Be Offended If, came from the book Influence. I believe it came from Influence. I know people that do it, and but it doesn't feel natural to me personally.
I
So
agree.
usually I'm gonna make them feel that they have their option at the end after I've told them what I'm gonna do. And it's more of a, "Why don't I do dot 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 dot?" Does
Sure.
that sound fair? Does that sound fair is what softens it up and gets their buy-in, but I'm really stacking the deck in my favor where it's almost impossible for them to say that doesn't sound fair.
I think fair is the world. I think the fair is the key to that whole does it sound fair? Well,
Yeah,
you have to come up with a reason that it doesn't sound fair.
sure.
So
Yeah,
the answer is always
agreed.
it sounds fair. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like it.
Now, two things that I want you to do. Go back and listen to your call on this. And there
Mhm.
were 2 points where you went into explanation of services that you offered. And I felt like your explanations were a little bit long. There were
Okay.
2 points. You provided lots of examples of things in those explanations. And I think that that was okay. I think that given the conversation, it was generally okay. But I want you to listen. Specifically, I want you to time yourself when you're
Okay.
providing those explanations and ask yourself, how can I give
Shorten it.
this explanation in half the amount of time?
So
And
tighten it
then
up.
record yourself using Audacity or Descript, some kind of an app, record yourself and time it. And
Sure.
and these things are going to come up in a lot of conversations. I want you to get to a point where you can when it comes up that it's time for you to explain a set of services. I want you to get to a point where you have kind of a predetermined set of services that you explain. Not that you read. You're going to use different language each time.
Sure.
For me, it's more of a reordering of what I say, though. I'm still keeping it to that same length. And I've practiced the set of services. I've practiced delivering my USP. That's why when Cam asked a little while ago, can I repeat that? I can't repeat the exact order that I say things in, but I can repeat, I know this needs to be 2 sentences with a question at the end of it. Okay. I know that this needs to be about 20 seconds long. And so normally I do things by sentences instead of time. I'll basically say, hey, I'm going to try to keep this to 3 or 4 sentences. I'm going to try to keep this to 2 or 3 sentences. And normally at the end of everything that I've explained to someone, I pin a question at the end of it. So the
So
question,
you're getting them to engage with you and
Yeah.
get some buy-in.
correct.
I
Yeah.
like it. Okay.
So
that makes
pinning
more
a
sense.
question to the back of everything that you explain is probably the most important thing. The second most important is getting it to where your explanations are shorter and more concise.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. And that's all I had for you.
Well, I appreciate that. And
That was a
you
good call. You
didn't
should
make me
you should
feel,
pick your phone up and do it in
yeah.
real life.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll have to just fall on the sword, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, Cal just asked a great question. Do you have role play with attorneys? You know, almost nobody shows up to this call and role plays the attorney approach. I would love it if some people role played the attorney approach. I do have several different things that I say to attorneys when I call. I'd be happy to role play that with anyone that wants to go. But we almost always role play here the call to the consumer. And that's not by design. That's just what most people show up wanting to role play. So, Cal, if you want to give it a go, raise your hand. I actually have Kathy up. Jennifer, thank you so much for going. Let's bring Kathy up.
Hi there.
Hey.
So I'm so happy that you guys brought this up as far as the probate lawyer. I definitely would love to hear how you role play with probate lawyer.
Yeah. Okay.
Non-court approved or needing court approval probate lawyer, and how to see I'm dealing with one that's just a very left, very dry, very masculine, and very not very well. She's not nice. She's so and I basically she's very condescending and rude. So I right up this straight away. I really feel like I need something that is going to explain that I want to work with you as a probate lawyer, and and you are in charge, but still I'm not going to be a doormat. So yeah.
Let me ask you a question. The way you just described the attorney, I
Yeah.
don't know why you want to work with them.
Yeah, it's actually I'm in the process. I've got 2 probates that I'm listing. So
Yeah.
it's basically a check is why I would want to work with them. I need to work with them.
Okay.
It was a Thursday. I train on doing cold calls.
Yeah. Are
I-
they are they handling an estate that you're already involved with?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Got it. All right. And you already know them a
No,
little bit.
not really. I mean, I was introduced to them after I made the cold call. And then it was, he's basically used this lawyer for a probate that was handled last year, and his brother just died. So this is he's using because they already knew his information. He said.
Okay. So attorney's not involved with the estate anymore. That's done. You would like a relationship for future referrals with this attorney, is that correct?
No, he's sorry.
I'm sorry.
I apologize.
Yeah.
The past relationship of the mother's estate is finished, but the brother just passed away in February, and so he's using the same attorney because she knows so much, and it was just an easy transition for him.
Yeah, okay. So do you want to you want me to role play it to you with the assumption that this is your first outreach or
Yes.
yeah, okay. Perfect. So ring ring.
Hello.
Hey, I was looking for Kathy. Is it Salinas?
Yes.
Kathy, we have not met. We have a mutual client. I wanted to take a quick second to introduce myself real quick. Do you have 3 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Kathy, John Smith told me that you guys had worked together on his mother's estate and about to work together on his brother's estate. Is that someone that you're already working on?
Yes. The Mitchell estate.
Okay, perfect. I guess you're pretty much estates and probate. Is that most of your business, or you kind of do more general?
Yes, I'm a probate only.
Okay, okay, perfect. So, Kathy, my really briefly, my involvement with this is I'm in the real estate space. But instead of just kind of selling a house, I normally kind of take care of the majority of the stuff on the ground. So clean outs, things like that. John had asked me to potentially be involved with that, but he told me that you guys were working together and I didn't want to step on your toes or anything. So I mainly just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that if you ever need anything, I want you to kind of save my number and be able to reach out to me if anything comes up that maybe you're needing from John or something over at the property. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask you how long do you think this probate process is going to take? Is it relatively simple or is it more complex?
Well, have you ever done a court approval that's needed, needed court approval probate? Sorry?
Yeah, I've handled those. By the way,
So you
time,
already know how long
which
it
state are
takes.
you in? Which state are you in?
California.
California. Okay.
California.
All right. Is this going to be a limited approval or limited authority or full
Yes.
authority? Limited. Okay. Yeah, I've helped handle a number of those before. Yeah.
Okay, so you know how long it'll take. So you know the process. I mean, it's like 30 to 60 days once once we pick a property.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Is there anything that you think that John needs to be doing right now to help streamline the process?
Right now we just need to go through the system, go through the posting, the public posting.
Are you handling those things, or is that kind of something that John's delegated to do?
Yeah, well, we just found out that there's an NOD on the property. So
Mm,
so we're
complicate things.
we're trying to arrange
Yeah.
we're trying to get that taken care of.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, perfect. Kathy, I told you I'd just take a couple of minutes, and I mainly wanted to make a connection. I know you're busy and have other things to do. If you ever want to meet up, make sure that you're comfortable with me being involved. I'm happy to do that. Relationship with John is fairly new at this point. I just want to make sure that I'm not doing anything that's going to mess up your process. So if I'm taking any kind of action, if it's okay with you, I'd like to run some of them by you from time to time. Is that okay?
Yeah, you can email me.
Email? What's your best email?
Da da blah 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 da 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 da.
Okay, perfect. All right. And if you need anything from me, I'm just going to send you a quick follow-up email right now, just so you have my information. If you need anything from me, or if you want me to do something in a particular time frame, just let me know.
Okay, great.
Okay,
I'll
all
go
right.
ahead and I'll keep that. I'll keep that in mind.
Cool. Okay. Thanks, Kathy. Appreciate it. Okay. So I'm essentially saving the future business for later on this one. Now, you mentioned that the attorney is really dry and kind of masculine, kind of abrasive, sort of tough.
Mhm.
What was she saying to?
Okay. She said, oh, we just got a note we just got a note from the neighbor behind us, and the neighbor said that sent pictures that her wall is being demolished because of the tree on this side. So I sent the email, forwarded it over to her and the administrator, and I let them know. And then she called me and said, Kathy, this is your job to figure out if they have home insurance on this property. Do they? And I said, I'd be more than happy to go ahead and check with that, check that, check on that and make sure it's up to date. I'll go ahead and call Clinton, or, I'll go ahead and call the administrator now, and then I'll get back to you right away.
Yep. And her response.
Okay.
Okay.
Hang.
All right.
Yeah. She's a hand. No, there's no goodbye and hello.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
But before that, she told me, Kathy, this is how she talks. Kathy, this is an OD. And if I don't get the bank loan extended, you will get no commission. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
I've dealt with attorneys like that all the time because I'm in New York.
Oh gosh.
And what I say all the time is, if you kill them with kindness, they could stay like that but so long. And I know, because I've dealt with attorneys over the course of a few years, that it literally took me like a year and a half for them to even say thank you, right? So sometimes you got to say, wow, that's crazy. I don't want that to happen, but you know what? Thanks so much for your help. I appreciate your expertise. And give them a little, and then, and it might seem like you got to eat some humble pie or whatever, because they're all salty, but after a while you'll get through. It just takes some time. So use time as your weapon, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're 120 days before foreclosure is 120 days is the amount of time we go to foreclosure. We're at 96 of those days, and for the last 3 weeks, she's been telling the administrator that she is trying to get an extension. So so the administrator took it upon himself yesterday to call the bank, and he understood that he could make 2 payments and push back the foreclosure. And that's what the bank told him. He said that would stall a couple of minutes, it'll give him a little time to pay the rest and to sell the house, because we have offers on the house. We're ready to go.
So
but we need to go ahead.
Here's where you can't necessarily challenge an abrasive attorney like this, but I'm just gonna say that this attorney is probably using her temperament to kill questions that might come up. You have offers on the house. She needs to be talking to the trustee. Typically, it's an attorney to an attorney. Most trustees are attorneys, foreclosure trustees, but not always, but normally. The majority of trustees are gonna work to help you stop foreclosures when they know that there's offers and that there's a legitimate process being followed. Especially if there's equity in the property, they don't want to foreclose, especially if they're just foreclosing and pushing that through on people who aren't cooperating. But when you're cooperating, you're normally going to get it stalled. And if it's not stalled yet, then my guess, this is just a guess, is that the attorney is not doing what she says she's doing.
That's what I was trying to tell the administrator in so many words, because he can't stand her. He shares my sentiment in every way, but I can't say that I have any facts. I've heard rumors in the industry swishing around, even before I got into this situation, that they don't actually stall, and they use this for their benefit. Wink, wink. The probate lawyers. So they don't actually try to stall. Because it needs to be, because they want me out. Yeah. So there's just how far do you go on that?
I wouldn't want a relationship with this attorney. I want like when an attorney shuts me down, listen, the way that I approach attorneys, it gives them a chance to shut me down. I'm fishing, I'm approaching with a very specific technique because I want to figure out who not to work with. Okay. And this attorney, I don't think that it's super beneficial for you to keep doing a whole lot with her. Now, you want to save the deal, you want to try to move this along. And this is where I'd probably say, hey, listen, I know you're waiting on you're trying to make some headway with the probably the foreclosure trustee. Is there anything that I could take off your plate? Kind of help with that. I know maybe I know how busy you are. I know I know there's only so many hours in the day. Is there anyone that that you'd like for anything that you'd like for me to do to help with this? Let's say that. And
Yeah, sometimes this is very helpful and so fundamental to hear, but I appreciate you telling me that because sometimes it needs to be brought back to that because hurt people and whatever. We're not emotional here, it's business, right? But it's like, but thank you for giving me that verbiage because you are right. The other day I said, she got back from her vacation. I said, well, welcome back from your vacation. And I knew it was not her. I knew I was doing, and she goes, and she was quiet, dead in the other line. I said, where'd you go? And she goes, Paris. I go, Paris, wow. It was totally me.
Yeah.
I go, Paris, wow. Have you been there before? Yes, Kathy, several times. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. So we get right in the business.
So here's what you need to do when you talk to your client. Bait your client into bringing up a distaste for the attorney again. I'm
Okay,
not going to bring it up.
Do that again. You say bait.
Yeah, bait
My client for the
to
distress.
bring up a distaste for the attorney.
Okay.
Okay. I don't bring these things up, but I'll bait the client to bring it up. Once they've broached the subject, then I'm generally feel like I have a little bit more latitude to be able to drop a couple of hints. So I might say, hey, you know, if another attorney could get you a better result, would you consider switching?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try to take them to someone to get another legal opinion.
Can I ask a question real quick? I know you're running on time. There's another property that I've got a listing on that is within this estate. Does that mean that we can't? She takes both, since it's part of the same estate with both properties. Does she mean? So I can't just go to another attorney for this other property. Like I have to go. Like I have to stay with the estate attorney. Like if he's going to choose somebody else take the whole package with us, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you take the whole package with you. Now, it depends on how tight her agreement is, but people switch attorneys. Okay, just like they switch realtors. Now, it depends with realtors, it depends like if someone were to switch, the brokerage doesn't have to let them out, just like the lawyer doesn't have to let somebody go. And on the brokerage side, I can't be the person that says, hey, do you want to talk about switching to me? Obviously, we know that. Well, on the attorney side, that's why I'm kind of baiting them into saying, yeah, this person, they're not doing their job. They're delaying things. And I kind of, mainly because I don't want, I feel like if the client's brought up their frustration first, they're not gonna rush over and be like, hey, Kathy told me that I needed to switch. Because that'd be, yeah. I would just say, hey, would you care for a second opinion to see if we could get this thing wrapped up sooner?
Okay. I appreciate you guys. That was
Got an attorney that I could introduce you to that they'll just give a quick consultation and tell you whether you need to stay the course or if you need to be doing something different. And then I'd take them to a different attorney. I have one rule in life, and I don't deal with a-holes. That's my only rule. Okay. And I don't feel like this attorney is someone that I'd like dealing a whole lot with. I'd love to deal with the client though. So I'm gonna suffer with the attorney since she comes as part of the package, but she doesn't necessarily have to stay part of the package. That's just my opinion. Okay, don't listen to me. All right.
Thank you, and thank you, Athena. I appreciate you. Thanks, you guys.
Okay, question that was chatted in, and then we got to jump. So someone with the username iPhone 471, you're new here and you have a question. So as realtors, you're told to always refer at least 3 different contractors for the same service. Let's say for cleanup. Do you do that, or do I refer someone trusted? A lot of trainers and brokerages will tell you that you need to refer 3. I believe that referring 3 generally diminishes liability. If someone that you've referred does something bad, you can say, hey, I didn't choose who you work with. I gave you 3 names and you chose. So that's the logic behind it. I understand the logic. I don't follow the logic. Do I trust the person I work with or not? If the answer is no, they're not even going to make my list of 3. If I trust them, I normally just say, this is the best person that you can be working with. That's me. So as realtors, we're told to refer 3. If it's your broker's policy to refer 3, refer 3. Okay, if you're a broker on here and that's your policy to refer 3, keep that policy. I'm completely fine. Your job is to reduce liability. My vendors, I trust, and I know they're not going to mess up. And if they do mess up, they know that I know where they work. Okay. So I refer 1 in most cases. If I have there comes certain occasions where I think that I have 2 service providers that are going to be equally as good. I might sometimes refer 2 from time to time if I feel like they're equally as good, but I generally try to match my client's personality and need with the service provider. So if I have 3 clean out crews, I might match it to 1 based on personality and need. And then try another one next time. So again, I'm not telling you not to refer 3. If that's your brokerage's policy, you stay with it because there's nothing wrong with that policy. I understand the logic. I don't disagree with the logic, but I also personally always refer the person that the vendor that I think is going to be best for the situation. And those vendors that I refer, they haven't messed up before. They haven't screwed me over. They haven't messed up with my client before. So unless that day comes, I'm going to continue to typically just refer 1. And if I have more than 1, thanks, Angel. If I have more than 1 to refer, I'll kind of go through a rotation with the vendors. All right, cool. Okay, guys, much appreciated. Thank you guys for being here for role playing. We do this every 2 weeks. Hopefully Courtney can jump in here and do another role play soon. I'm trying to do this with several different coaches from week to week, but just know this is an every other week thing. So be on the lookout for the next one. And I want to see some new faces next time. I saw a lot of new faces this time. So really, really good. Cam, unfortunately, no, I'll be doing this only bi-weekly for the foreseeable future. All right. Cool, guys. Appreciate you. See you soon.